Hello and welcome to the Jokakaka Evangelion podcast, or as I'm calling it,
Name pending.
name pending, or maybe Eva-cast.
Joanna
Man.
Joanna Man podcast. We watch nothing but Joanna Man, and that's all we watch.
I'm Jim.
I'm Sam.
And here we are. This is our second episode, but we're talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Evangelion, the original series. These are episodes The Silent Phone and Rain After Running Away, also known as Hedgehog's Dilemma, episodes 3 and 4.
Yes.
What did you... Oh, by the way, I've seen the show a million times. Sam has never seen it.
I've never seen the show, but I know plenty from word of mouth about the show.
So here we are.
Yes.
Episodes 2 and 3. 3 and 4. What did you think?
This is the... Try to
This is probably like where the show really reveals its true colors. Like episode 4 in particular...
Shinji wrestling
different.
with depression and mental mind goblins and just like all around crisis, I guess, a mental crisis.
Yeah, it really takes like what at first was like we don't really know too much about Shinji at first. We just know he's kind of like a timid young man.
His dad's an asshole.
Yeah, and he's kind of like there's a lot of little details that tell us, like I brought up last time, like how the letter was ripped up when he received a letter and ripped it up.
And also just the one line where he's just like, oh, my dad's not even here, why am I even doing this, kind of.
Yeah, in that episode in episode 3 we start to get a little more, but now we're finally like really diving into Shinji's personality, Shinji's mind state, how fucked it is. And I really like these episodes. I love the way that episode 4 ends. Which it's funny. I think this is
famously.
Yeah, like this is where probably a lot of people have like maybe the first like hit with the show.
I feel like
I like drop off point.
Whenever you like made me watch.
Yes.
Then again, I was also just like had a horrible like I was always tired back in there, so like I don't remember episodes 2 and 3 at all. I only remember like, 1 and then the train episode. But I can see how I fell asleep during that, especially when I was always tired back in the day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
there's a lot of just silence in that episode. I can see like I can just take a good nap between a lot of these awkward silences.
Yeah, it's a very visual. Like most of the time Shinji's on screen, he's not speaking, he's just kind of existing and going through the world. And there's a lot that I really enjoy about that in a way that it really like paints the character and it paints the world. There's a lot of little details about the world too that we get.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot
in these 2 episodes in particular. But yeah, so
episode 3 is you know Shinji training, I guess, learning to shoot gun.
Yeah, I think
in VR.
Episode 3 is like a little. It's not like one of my absolute favorites, but I think it's very like well written in the way that it's like I feel like the script is really well written because it sets up a lot of stuff that comes up in the next episode and it's paid off really well because we bring up this whole idea of Shinji basically not having any friends. Misato, Shinji's barely human right now. Like he's not really like engaging with anything.
Also, when we see him training, he's just like there's a lot of shots where he looks like a husk essentially.
Yes. Yeah, the classic like weird Fish Islands effect.
Not even that. Like, that there's also like, a couple shots where like not always like that as well, where you kind of just get like the straight shot of his like husk-like face, and when he's training to shoot the gun better, he's like literally like just repeating the training devices. All he said, like he's having a panic attack just trying to say that and like do it.
He's not really even like considering what he's doing. He's just doing it. He's just going through the motions, which is like the easiest thing for him. It's like a path of least resistance. And like we have this kind of funny thing where like Shinji is getting ready to go to school, like after we cut like a little bit later. Shinji's getting ready to go to school, and Misato, he goes to wake her up, but she's like,
I just got back from work.
I literally just got off my shift. It's like fucking 8 a.m. So he leaves, and it's kind of a weird like connection thing. Like they're still kind of awkward. They still don't really have like they don't really know each other super well yet.
Yeah.
But then we get like the one little thing that is like important here is like Misato got Shinji a cell phone, but he just doesn't use it. He doesn't have any friends.
No one to call him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we go to school. We see Ray there, and her bandages also alone, just staring out a window. And then we see a lot of the classrooms, like a lot of classes very abandoned or a lot of kids. They said a lot of kids transferred out because of the attack. We meet, like, some people, like, there were some casualties that, well, not officially say there wasn't, but of course there were going to be some.
We get you brought, like, you noticed it too. I think it was what's the name? Toji mentions that, like, his parents work in the lab.
Yes. Or we assume the people that haven't transferred away are, like, working at the Eva facility, assumingly.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And some of the kids probably don't even know that.
Yeah,
well.
We get
because parents might say, "Oh, we just work in a lab. We work in a lab." That's all they ever really say.
Yeah, later in the episode, they show that there's kind of like a definitely like strong control over the media. Like,
yes,
Nerve is the organization that like runs the Eva program, whatever, and they clearly like have like their feelers in. I think they've mentioned last episode about like the cover up they used for the Sachiel fight.
Yeah.
And I think Ritsuko even has a line where she's like, "Oh yeah, they were so excited. The propaganda people were so excited to finally have like work to do." And it just shows like how massive Nerve is and how much control they exert over like people that live there don't even realize like what's happening.
Maybe we can get that in the second episode when we see like they can just track Shinji down in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
Yeah,
and take him back.
Yeah, which I love that. I think that's really funny.
But yeah, we get to school. Basically, there's a bunch of like characters that are just in the class. There's like, I guess 3, other than Ray and Shinji, like 3 notable ones.
Yeah.
The least notable one is class rep. Her name.
Class rep. I believe her name is Ikari.
Class rep.
I don't know if they actually ever say her name in the original series.
Hilarious.
I think they might say
that would be a thing where like, oh, it's like JoJo where you don't find the name of the thing until like you read like an author note.
Yeah, one of the what's it called? One of like the super fans like interviews like, what was Class Rep's real name? No, but
and he looks. Anna looks at his copy of Persona 3. Yukari.
No, it's Ikari. I think it's Ikari. I think it's Ikari.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. Unimportant, but yeah.
Unimportant character.
Class Rep, and then Toji, who's like the tracksuit guy.
Yes,
and
the meathead, and then Kensuke's the
Kensuke Ida.
Glasses kid from the late 90s, early 2000s that has to video record everything.
I feel like in the past I've been like kind of mean to Kensuke. Going through it now, I kind of respect like the character that he is supposed to be. Like, he's supposed to be like a true otaku. Like, he's out in the wilderness.
He's a gun otaku.
He's like a gun otaku, like legitimately gun otaku. Like, he does the camping. And I feel like there's definitely, that's a lot of like self-insert going on. Like Ano for sure identified as an otaku and like was very deep into those kind of circles. So I feel like I appreciate his character more than I did before.
Like, oh, he's gonna be a school shooter.
But we also have this kind of interesting thing come up with him where he's like dying to see, like he's kind of got like, he's more aware than most people. Like, he knows that there's
I can see him being
shit
like
going down, and he wants to see it.
I can see him being like conspiracy nut.
Certainly.
Like in his cabin they would have in the woods. That's where like the little like the little like dart, the little tacks on strings about putting everything.
He's a what do they call it?
Conspiracy board.
Yeah, conspiracy board.
But yeah, basically he says like, oh, I think after that attack, and we just have a transfer student come in there. Pretty sus. He must be the pilot.
And then I also really like this scene too, where so something kind of like interesting is happening in the background of the scene where all the kids find out that Shinji was the pilot.
Well, I think before that, where they mentioned that what's it called? Is it Kensuke the big guy?
Kensuke is the glasses kid.
Okay, and which one's the big?
Toji.
Okay, I haven't got their names down yet, so forgive me. But Toji also mentioned that his sister was hurt in the attack, by like rubble falling on her, but she's fine. She's in the hospital right now, but
she's like almost fine. I mean, she was severely injured, but
so was Ray, but she's fine, mostly fine.
Which you made a funny point I never thought about, where you're like, do people know that Ray does this? Because like, it is weird that she's just like covered in fucking bandages all the time.
Yes. So Ray, because the Angel 3 was the first attack in 15 years, correct?
Yes. So the one from last batch. Yeah.
So did Ray try to fight that beforehand already?
No. That was the first time that they saw that angel.
Then do we have a reason why she's just covered in bandages, or will we get that revealed?
We will get that revealed.
Okay.
that will be explained. They did say
Did Gendo push her down a flight of stairs?
No comment. No, they did say that it took Rey like 7 months to even sync with Unit
I remember
1.
that.
So there's Unit 0. So
yeah,
there is another one.
Unless the stress from syncing up just like breaks your brittle bones and burns your eye.
Yeah, no, you will see. We
Okay.
There's still more. There, it's actually cool. They've already shown some of it, but they haven't explained it yet.
Okay.
The show is very visual.
Because like Shinji basically having control was like a fucking like shock.
It was perfect. It was like perfect for him.
Yes, I love this. This is perfect. Unexplained reasons is great.
But yeah, so going to what I was saying. So speaking of the 15 years ago thing, that's like the last angel attack. During their classroom scene, the teacher, I don't know if you read any of what the teacher
I
was
tried
saying.
to. There's a lot of stuff I had to like look at around that.
The more interesting part of the scene is like, what is Shinji doing? And what the teacher's explaining basically is the cover story for what people believe happened 15 years ago.
Okay.
So that's referred to as the second impact.
Okay.
And the story that he's telling, which we like, I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's something more going on.
Yes.
He said that a meteorite hit Antarctica 15 years ago, which would have been like in 1999 in universe. And it caused basically it was like a cataclysmic event. Like the ocean levels rose because of all of the melting ice cap, and it caused civil war, it caused tragedy, like it destroyed society. So society has rebuilt in the last 15 years.
I do not believe that Japan would be around from the ocean rising.
Japan would be so much smaller, I would imagine, if the ocean levels rose. Like,
but they go to Tokyo, so
Tokyo with the and it's one thing too that I really like, because he kind of like the teacher gets like stuck in his own like thoughts for a second
because
and he says like it's like I used to live in Senkawa, but now it's underwater, like
because he gets like lost in thought, and then like because everybody has a laptop, and I guess he can expert hacker because he could just like just instant message people or anybody and he wanted to.
It seems like there's just like a message feature on the laptops.
Okay,
like AOL, like
no matter what class you have and what year, that's a dangerous thing to just have to be allowed in your class.
Sam, as someone who's worked in modern schools where every kid has a laptop now, you would be surprised how fucking crazy everything is.
We had a Nintendo 64 emulator on all of our school computers.
Child's play compared to what the kids
which is hilarious that someone got into like the what's it called the universal save and just put
it is pretty funny.
Project 64 on all the computers.
But yeah, so the big thing here is that all the kids in the class find out that Shinji's the robot.
Yeah, because Shinji says, yeah, it's me. I'm like, why would you want to tell them that? But he probably maybe wants to be accepted more. Maybe that's why he did that, or...
Yeah, it's weird. It's very interesting when Shinji decides to do something, especially this early on, because it's like, he seems like what is his motive?
It seems like he wants to like, stay out of trouble and just like stay by himself. But yeah, he just says yes, and I'm like, what do you expect to have? Because he gets like everybody just crowds around him and all that.
Yeah, and it's funny too because he's not used to that attention either. No. Like he kind of is really embarrassed.
Masato's like the only person that ever like gives him attention for anything. It's more of like a roommate situation.
And it's inappropriate because she's not really like interacting with him as like a kid because he's a child. He's as you said, it's like a roommate. She treats him like a roommate almost.
Yeah, she's a coworker.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Well, technically, he's his subordinate, or she's a higher rank than he is.
Yeah, but still, it's still a coworker at the gym, no matter what your rank is. You work with that person.
Is your boss your coworker?
In a way, yeah. If they work alongside your position, I'm assuming you'd be a coworker.
But they're not. They're the boss. They're above you.
Yeah, but she still had the job of like driving around Shinji and everything.
We're entering a slam dunk from the 3-point line situation, and I just want to stop it right now.
It's a boss and coworker. Leave your comment on your opinion, yes or no.
We've talked way too much about the first half of this episode, but so we actually get the first time that Rey speaks to Shinji.
Oh, after he gets punched twice.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So yeah, Toji's whole thing is he once he finds out Shinji was a pilot, he punches him.
He's kind of a meathead. Like
it's very much like the standard sort of like when you're a teenager, what you imagine like masculine what is like the way that a man behaves?
Because
you punch guys.
We have a moment where like the girls in the classroom kind of like get like grossed out by him. There's a moment where he like where he like, his action and the girls in the background react to it like disgustingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very immature. The kids, the two kids are very like accurately portrayed, I think, as like immature high schoolers.
Yeah, but he even says like, "Oh yeah, my sister kind of like yelled at me too if I didn't apologize, like because you saved the day."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he gets punched, and that's when Ray comes up to him and says, "Just report. We have a job. Come to HQ." And he's like,
and she literally runs off, which I find very funny.
I'm glad none of her legs were like undisclosedly hurt from that.
Yeah, she's fine.
May have a bandage on there.
She probably has like her butt's probably like
her toe has like
a big like the hole. There's a big hole in her butt or something.
Yeah, Jim. The whole it's called a butthole, Jim.
What?
It's sealed. Ray has it sealed up.
No pleasure for Ray.
No.
But so
Ray's pain.
So basically, it's very interesting. There's zero Gendo in this episode.
Yes.
So the emergency happens to be an angel attack. So this is the fourth angel attack.
It's a weird like Paleozoic kind of like, but it's weird goofy like eyes on the top of it as well. But when it goes like to the standing upright position, like a weird like magical creature, like it's like an evil floating mage by its other form, and like it's very weird. Like
so, its name is
very Paleozoic looking.
I had to look this one up. Its name is Shamshell.
Shamshell.
And it's interesting. This isn't by far like one of my favorite angels, design wise, or like its inclusion in the episode, but
it's a monster of the week today. Essentially.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's more so like the way that it has an effect on Shinji right now, because right now like Shinji, because when Shinji goes to fight it, they like send him in,
he uses his gun like immediately,
and immediately Misato's like, you idiot, you're just shooting like the ground, and
you're making it smoke.
Yeah, you're making it harder for yourself. But Shinji's like, the problem is in Shinji's mind all he has to do is like the bare minimum, but in like a fight for his life, it's not, but the bare minimum is not enough.
Yeah, fight or flight. Like, when you're in a dangerous situation, like, your reaction is different on every person, and Shinji starts to panic when it starts to, like, fuck him up.
Also, visually, the one thing I really like is the way it has, like, these beam tentacles.
Yeah, like ribbons, but, like, they like I said, laser.
The way that it slices the one building, and the building, like, falls, is just, it's very cool. There's a lot of really cool shots.
They also send him a new gun in a building, which is really cool.
Very awesome. I fucking love that. Oh, this is also the first episode where the umbilical cord gets knocked off.
Yes, like, and it had like a 5-minute time limit essentially,
yeah,
5 or 6 minutes.
I think it technically does happen in episode 1, but like this is the first time we're really introduced to that as like a ticking clock.
It's very reminiscent of Ultraman. Extremely,
yeah. You can definitely tell this is like such an Ultraman.
If somehow you don't know, Ultraman has a gimmick where when his chest starts flashing, that means he's about to like degrow, I guess, or like go back to human form. Yeah.
It's so funny how like inconsistent it is, because sometimes in Ultraman he'll get it like immediately.
It'll just last like it's like Frieza destroying Planet Namek.
Yeah, he'll get it immediately and it lasts the whole fight, or he'll be fine for like the whole fight, and then it'll happen immediately.
Or he has enough time to take an alien spaceship, fly to space, and throw it at the sun to genocide an entire alien race.
Good old Ultraman.
He's a hero.
But so as Shinji's fighting it, the two boys, this is where we kind of get the idea of the press blackout. Like everyone is sent to
like an underground bunker, sent to like a subway kind of area.
Oh, and we also see like more details of like how the buildings go underground, and the shots just look awesome.
Also, it's very reminiscent of like kind of like a hurricane or like wartime hiding
sort of disaster like bunker. Yes, which is something that is probably pretty common for Japanese life, because it's like situated in like one of the most unfortunate areas.
Yeah, especially when you have like monsoon or typhoons.
Yeah, you have so many like literally like
tsunamis.
Tsunamis, typhoon or monsoons, and also
kaiju attacks.
It's right on a fault line too. That's why there's always so many earthquakes.
Yeah. So you kind of everything works, and like basically Shinji's still fighting it, but we have the two boys want to like, we got to see what's out there. I got my camera. Also, he like hacked into like an outside camera or something to see, like, he had like an antenna on his camera, which is really weird to see. Like,
that part's kind of weird.
And he was like, "Oh, the media blackout. I can't really see shit."
Yeah, like they don't explain like what's happening. They don't say angel attack. It's not like in Pacific Rim, where They literally say like, "Oh my god, the kaiju are here!" Like, no, they just make everyone go into like a bunker. But so yeah, they're out, and Shinji gets like thrown
Shinji gets his
over
ass
to them.
beat. Yeah, they're on a hill, and Shinji gets thrown into the hill.
The part of I know, like suspension of disbelief and everything, but Shinji, the way he lands,
he lands perfectly with them in between their fingers.
Literally, yeah, he's literally between, or they're between his fingers. If he was a few inches over.
It's very much a trope in like mecha or like just giant monster stuff where like they just land perfectly like next to them without somehow being crushed or like. And then so basically he grabs on to the monsters to try to protect them, and what's it called? Misato's like, just open the cockpit, let them in there, so Shinji doesn't have to worry about them because they're from his school, and that's gonna fuck up Shinji essentially if he like
lets him die. Like he's already in a dramatic state.
Yes, so he's like holding off, and then like you can kind of see like the there's like shots, but you kind of see like it peeling away, or you see a burnt hand kind of thing. So
it's like destroyed all of like the mechanical bits. So like, it's just like a hand with fingernails.
Because once they get in there, really like
cool.
When they push the monster away, you can see like the actual hand, like a good shot of it. It's like really cool. Then Misato's like, okay, get them in there, then retreat, and then we'll just send you right back up there when we have everything attached. And like he's like, fuck that. Takes a small knife out of his shoulder, which
the progressive knife,
the fully clear progressive knife. And just runs down and stabs it and just has like a spark off where he's just like, it's like the Power Ranger 2% sparks coming out of like a monster, but it's just like nonstop. Like
it's pretty intense. There's really not too much of like a quote unquote fight with this one. I think that's why it's a little more forgettable.
It also conveniently dies like at the last second as well.
It does, yeah. Like right as the timer's ticking down.
And Shinji just nonstop screaming that when it cuts to Misato and them in there, you just hear screaming over the walkie. It's really funny.
Also, interestingly, once he kills them, or sorry, once
he kills his friend,
once he kills his friend with the progressive knife,
knife.
Once Shinji kills it and it's like dead, Shinji starts crying, and this is he cries in front of his two friends, which going back to the whole thing about like Toji being like masculine. Crying, just like breaking down crying as a teenage boy, crying in front of your friends.
They're not his friends, really.
They're barely his friends. They're like
they beat him up.
Yeah,
they literally just like they literally
could possibly be the most terrifying thing ever to like cry in front of two other teenage boys when you're a teenage boy.
I mean, after they just saw, they're probably like not too shocked by that. Like they're kind of stunned and everything from it.
Yeah, but I think that's really So the big thing is like Misato is like mad that Shinji, and we get more of this in a flashback next episode, but Misato is already mad that Shinji disobeyed the order, even though everything's fine. Like she's still angry.
Yes. That's kind of when the second episode kind of picks up a bit.
Well, there's one last little thing which I want to cover because I think it's pretty important. So they explain how Shinji hasn't gone to school for 3 days. He's basically cutting, and Toji is like, should I call Shinji? I feel bad that I punched him. I want to like say I'm sorry. So Kensuke gives him the number.
Hacks in, finds his cell phone number. Not even Shinji knows his phone number.
Yeah. And so Toji like goes to call, but he doesn't actually. Like it's kind of a cliffhanger.
You're not or like it cuts from the outside, so you're not sure if like he called and no one picked up, or he just hung up the phone. It kind of like seemed like they want to like you're not sure what he did or what happened.
It's definitely left vague, and
because when earlier when she mentioned that Shinji has a phone, we just see the phone. Shinji didn't even take it with him.
Yeah, he just leaves it on like his desk.
So like, he probably wouldn't have the phone on him even if he did call.
Mm-hmm. My fan theory is that he doesn't call. I feel like he doesn't because then the whole point of the next episode is the Hedgehog's dilemma, and the whole thing with that, it's like the closer you get to people, the more it hurts. So it's already showing like Toji's afraid to get close to Shinji, even in like the most like basic of ways.
And we know that he's like very shy. He has the Comey thing of he's very shy and he has social anxiety essentially.
Shinji definitely has some sort of deranged social anxiety, some sort of advanced social anxiety.
Everybody in the show has some kind of social anxiety in some way,
some sort of malady or a complex.
Yes.
But so yeah, going into the next episode,
the Hedgehog's dilemma.
The Hedgehog's dilemma. Shinji runs away.
Yes.
Because Misato, she references like, Shinji's been skipping school.
5 days. It's been 5 days, and then she wakes up with her bedhead. I love her like morning like tired outfit.
Yeah, I really like. Just once again, like the details are incredible. Like she always has like her laundry hanging up in the bathroom.
One thing we didn't mention last episode was like when she asked to take out the burnable garbage, and there's like the only garbage can or only garbage they left in the area.
Yeah.
It's really funny to see. Like, yeah, they're literally
they are the only people in that apartment complex.
Like I said, it's very much like One Punch Man, where they have like
Yeah.
living in the middle of like a destroyed city.
But
yeah, so yeah, the Misako goes to open the door. There's no Shinji. All his shit is just gone.
yeah, and it's funny too. The bed is like neatly made. Like everything's left like nicely.
Yes.
Like which feels very much in line with what he like. Leaving no impact is kind of what Shinji's goal is here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think is like kind of fucked up, and it's really evident how shitty Misato is here. She doesn't give a shit.
She's
like
an idiot.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, she gives a shit, I should say, but she doesn't give a shit enough to like go looking for him. It's strange. So I guess
she is like a. Have you seen her? She's the hothead for like when she argues with like everybody. Where I think like she just be like, I don't have time to deal with this shit. I'll just let it sit, and then eventually like once it started is like, okay, he's not coming back. It's not like a child tantrum kind of thing. She has
like serious.
I have to like call somebody. It didn't call to find him.
Yeah, presumably she's the one that.
Yeah, I feel like I think it's just her being childish.
Definitely, and I think also a big thing is too like she's kind of navigating a weird role. Like she's not his mother.
Yeah.
And she's also his commanding officer.
And not and she's not doing like a big sister thing yet.
No, so she doesn't really like. She cares about him in like the most like the slightest amount you could care about somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting because like. I don't know. You get this impression that Misato is kind of like this kind of like lighthearted sort of like whatever. She takes her job seriously, but what like parties
she's also
hard.
lazy.
But yeah, it's like this is kind of like crazy that she would like she's really wrestling with her feelings for Shinji. Like, is he like family or is he just like some random kid that I don't care about?
Yeah. It also comes more later where it's just like. The all this, like about when basically talk about him quitting and everything about like like if you quit I don't blame you kind of thing. Like he may not even be, or she's talking with what's her name,
Ritsuko.
Yeah, Ritsuko. She's like talking about like I don't blame basically like, I don't blame him, but like he's just like it's just been through it's a fucking hard thing to go through. Like the whole situation kind of fucked, especially with, like they mentioned that he's 14 years old, so like
they do also mention in this episode they drop it in one line. They say only 14-year-olds can pilot the Eva.
The cockpit's too big for a grown up.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. It's like funny that they like lampshade it, I guess, or like hand wave it away. But so now the homeless Shinji arc begins. Shinji just kind of wanders for a bit, like. There's not too much like happening.
He's like on a train. He goes through like the city, like a red light district. It feels like.
Yeah, he always the big thing is he always is listening to like the same two songs on his little Walkman.
Yeah,
which are.
Is that confirmed with the songs that he listens to?
Well, the songs are like I don't know if like they've been released, but
has Ano said what the songs?
I can't remember. I'll have to look that up for next time. But
it's one Fly Me to the Moon.
The numbers are 25 and 26.
Yes.
There are 26 episodes of Evangelion. So, just keep that and bury that little nugget in your brain.
Sure. Oh god. 26 angels.
Oh, you wish. You wish. But so one thing here, so we talked about earlier the second impact, how that's believed. So I don't know if you caught it, but the movie that Shinji goes to see, he's not really watching the movie.
I was trying to pay attention to that. It was like a monster movie, or
it's it's like a disaster movie about the second impact. Like they're talking about like something hitting Antarctica and like tsunami's coming, and it's just I like that little detail. I think that's really clever that they would like insert that into the universe. Like there's like a movie about the big tragedy that everybody experienced.
Didn't really get to know because Shinji's also like painted to the couple like making out as well.
Which I also love that detail. Like Shinji feels like an outside observer in life, like in all ways. He's not engaged in life. He's only like seeing it and he can't attain it. And that too, it's like he's this young kid and he's seeing like a pretty illicit act happening in front of him, and all he can do is just kind of sit there and just watch it and absorb it.
Yeah. And
really good.
Then we also have what's it called? His two new friends, like now they're friends, I guess, visit Misato's apartment, and they basically say like Shinji's homework's piling up. He hasn't been to school. Hopefully he's okay. And Miles is like, okay, I'll give it to you. Like, whoa, she's hot.
Yeah, what a babe.
What a babe. And then Misato gets like angry.
That's when Misato. You can tell Misato cares because she's like, she's upset, but she's angry. She's her like.
She like kicks the wall and is like, fucking, I have to do something now. Kind of a mentality.
Yeah, she's like, it's a burden. That's how she views it. Like, she doesn't care about his well-being. It's more of like, oh, I'm put in this situation because, even though she volunteered to be in this situation.
And now she's gonna have to gear up Ray to just put her into the robot, and a lot more bullshit to do.
Yeah, we do see a very funny shot of Ray like in her underwear being like scanned.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of funny. There's something kind of funny about that shot, I think.
Sure. I see this girl suffer.
I really like Ray. It's gonna be no secret next episode for us. I'm a huge fan of Ray.
You're a Team Ray man.
I don't really like engage in the waifu wars. I think they're a little silly in like 2022 year of our Lord. But to me, Ray is such a compelling character. And what they do with her is very fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I just like Ray a lot. I guess I'm a Ray simp.
Mm-hmm.
Call me Ray simp. 14-year-old character.
Ray simp.
I really do like Asuka a lot too. It's not like, I don't know. I don't really have a preference. It's just a good show. I like the fucking writers. I like the fucking writing of the show, guys.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to get to them. But yeah, we also have basically what's it called? So we also have some flashbacks with like Masato and Shinji as well. Where like it's like the I guess the post fight discussion where like she's like, hey, why disobey orders? Like, don't do that. Like, I'm your superior. You don't do that. You're like, what did it matter? Like, I killed it anyway. Like, just
this is like a very scary version of Shinji.
He like it. What was I trying to say? He like switched the flick from what we saw at the end of that fight, where he's just like having a legit panic attack, like after killing it.
It's like I don't know how to describe this. It's almost like he's kind of hysterical. Like he doesn't value his own life, and he's like okay with it. It's like the kind of thing that like a Redditor would be like, oh yeah, nihilism. Like, I'm a nihilist. Like,
he like shut down completely and just became like a robot.
Yeah, but he's happy. He's like
he reset.
He's treating it like without any seriousness. Like he's treating it like a joke. He's like, if I die, whatever. Like, I'm the only one that can do it. Like, Ray can't do it, so I'm the only one that can do it.
She would fucking die.
It's very interesting that Shinji acted this way before he ran away. It was like totally a front. This is like totally a front.
Like I said, we had the Ritzko. What's it called?
Misato
discussion as well. We have Gendo talking as well. You actually see Gendo.
We do see Gendo on this
episode. And he says,
bring out the girl. Bring out the girl.
Get Ray ready.
Bring out the girl and just place her in the capsule.
Gotta bring her out. Give her more scars.
But yeah, and that's kind of like, I really like that little flashback scene with Shinji.
Yeah, so Shinji's like wandering around still in the fucking random buttfuck nowhere, and of course
he gets fucking far.
But look, conveniently though,
he walks past Kensuke.
Conveniently there, like filming, like having a weird like. It's like when you're a kid and you're playing with like the toy, like the little toys Green Army Men, but he's doing it in real life.
Yeah, he's like boom.
It's like, I guess, airsoft guns, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's funny because they don't have like the little orange tip.
No. Well, the airsoft gun in Japan, I think they don't. I don't think they have like the orange tips really.
I feel like they have to like look not as. It's not like the whole thing. I don't fucking know.
From what I've seen in Japanese media, not really.
But yeah, I know that airsoft is like a big thing because they can't have actual guns.
They have an airsoft bar in Japan where you just go like an airsoft shooting range while you're drinking.
That's funny.
I was like, I don't think that's a good idea.
It's just airsoft. What's the worst? Like, you'd lose an eyeball. Like,
yeah, people drunk like, I'm this guy. Look at me, I'm America, and just start shooting your friends. I'm like, oh my god, dude, don't.
But as I said before, like, I really like this kind of portrayal of Kensuke as like a chunibyo. He basically is like a chunibyo. Like, he's too old to be behaving the way he behaves.
That's why he's like out in the middle of nowhere so no one sees him.
Yeah, and like there's like a little sign that says something about summer camp. So maybe he does like a summer camp thing. But he
military camp.
Yeah, he clearly is just like really into this, and I don't know. It feels like it's a good little like character. I really like Kensuke this time around, guys.
Okay,
it really flipped my mind about Kensuke. I don't hate him and find him as annoying as I used to.
So he basically chats with Shinji a little bit. Shinji just stays in his tent. It's kind of sus, but
they talk about the one thing here that I think is really interesting is Kensuke is like saying how cool Shinji's life is. He's like, you get to live with a
You're
babe.
an anime character.
You're an anime character. You get to live with a babe and pilot a giant robot. Damn, I wish I was like that. I wish that was my life. Little does he know how bad things really are for Shinji. If only you knew how bad things really were.
You should see. You see how terrible my dad is. He'll fucking put you into a robot no matter how mentally or physically scarred you are.
And I think this is kind of like an important scene for Shinji because he realizes that like his pain is not evident. Like people don't understand like the way that he's like his issues with the world. He's still trying to like figure out all this shit. So it's a way for him to like connect to someone in a way like he also kind of relates to him about not having a mother. Like Kensuke says like, yeah, my mom's dead too.
I'm like, wait, does everybody know Shinji just doesn't have a mother, but that's part of his hacking?
It might be part of his illicit hacking that he did.
Maybe we'll learn more about Shinji's mom.
But yeah, then the FBI come. They're called like the Nerve
Security or something.
Nerve Security and Intelligence Committee or group or whatever.
And they just take him away, and he goes back.
He's kind of in jail. They kind of put him in jail.
Yeah.
He's detained.
Am I being detained? Am I being detained?
And I really like the scene where Misato opens the door and like confronts him, and like Misato's completely silhouetted the whole time.
Yeah.
And she's just like she's just like mad that she can't understand him. And the whole thing is like she's like, so are you gonna do this? He's like, yeah, I mean if Ray can't do it. And she's like, but what do you want to do, Shinji? Like, do you
does
like
not
this?
compute. What do I want does not compute. Must run away to train station.
Basically. And yeah, she gets frustrated and kind of gives up.
He resigns. He heads to the train station where he just stands in front of a train.
Which I love the detail of showing his card get like decommissioned, like his like sign-in card. That's just like a good detail, and it makes it feel like more finite or like final. It makes it feel like it's just a real big deal that he resigned.
Also, he says like, is Miss Masato not coming? I want to say goodbye. And he's like, you don't have the credentials to know that anymore, and just be like,
that was kind of funny. I do like those two guys. They do have kind of a funny moment.
Right, yeah, because when the
the two guys that like take him to the train station.
There's two friends meet him there. They're like, can you give us some privacy? They're like, okay. And they just talk to them. In the background, you kind of just see like, because the whole thing is like, oh yeah, you can punch me now as payback. And then like,
the whole thing with Toji was that he punched Shinji twice.
Yeah.
Because the first time was justified for the sister, but the second time was out of anger, so unjustified.
Yeah.
This is their logic.
So like, I'm like, okay, the security guard probably won't like, their boss's son getting punched. Oh no, they're just like staring at the ground. It's like they have a smile.
They're laughing. They're like like they both have smiles on their face. They're like, look at these kids. It's like,
but they're not. It's like, but they're just talking. They're in the background. You can see they just like staring at the ground, smirking. I'm like, this is so weird.
It's pretty funny. But so yeah, they have like a real moment. It's like a moment of connect, because Shinji had a connection with Kensuke, and now he has this connection with Toji. So it's like he finally has like people to care about, and then that's why when he gets taken away up the stairs, I really like the scene too. Shinji like desperately tries to break free, and he basically confesses like what he thinks. He's like, I'm a weak person. I'm cowardly. I'm terrible. I hate myself. And it's kind of important. Like Shinji has not opened up to anyone in this way yet. It's like a big breakthrough for him.
Mm-hmm. You need a couple of bros, I guess.
Yeah, you just need to bro out with the lads. Punch your frickin' friend in the face.
Nothing makes you more bros than violence, I guess. But yeah, that's when we see the train comes. He's standing in front of the door. The train pulls away. He's still standing there frozen, which is like the weirdest sight if anybody's on that train station to see. Like, why is the guy just fucking...
So
like Blair Witch Project is standing there.
So okay, here's what happens. He's standing ready to get inside the train, and he hears the voice of Misato in his head say, "Keep it up."
Yeah.
Which
I kind of wish he was like had one step, like leg in the sky, taking a step and just froze completely like that.
But then Misato also learns about this, and like she finally feels guilty.
She speeds literally.
She literally like speeds full speed, and she misses the train. Actually, this is kind of a dramatic moment. And then she sees Shinji standing there, and Shinji chose not to go.
And they have a very long stare.
And it finally ends with him saying, basically Tadaima, which is like, I'm home. And then she says
back.
like Okairi or whatever, like welcome home. And it's just like, it's nice because like, it's finally this moment where Shinji was in a new place. He didn't know anyone.
But where was Pen Pen?
no Pen Pen in this episode.
Where the fuck was
sorry.
Pen Pen? He should have been the one to stop Shinji. Or going seeing a tent and seeing Pen Pen there. Wow, Pen Pen, you're right. Maybe I should just like man up and get.
but it's good because like we have like the whole like they talk like meets Ritsuko and what's her name? Oh my god, my brain's fucking fried. Ritsuko and Misato talk about the Hedgehog's dilemma, and they discuss like the idea of like the closer you get to people, the more you're hurt because like you're making yourself vulnerable. It's about vulnerability, like, and this is finally where like Shinji and Misato are both opening themselves up to each other. And it's very touching. I love the end of this episode so much. It's like we finally see Misato like step into the role that she signed up
Misato's
for.
epic step.
It's Misato's epic step. And then Shinji is also accepting that he wants to stay here. Like he has friends. He has a reason to be. It's not just because
he has
he's being
two
told
whole
to.
friends now.
I think part of it though is Shinji definitely likes to be praised, and that's why I think he thought of Misato saying "keep it up," because she did tell that to him after the first fight. And so he likes being told he's doing good, which I relate to.
Yeah, even probably hearing the one bite from him saying that about like, oh, my sister said, "What if for you?" Like she would, she'd probably be dead or anything. You're a hero, like kind of thing. Probably helped as well.
Yeah,
like many other things. But yeah, he's getting a little bit of praise probably helped. But we all know that he's just waiting to get maybe some kind of praise from his father that we know is never gonna happen.
Yep. Because that was, I think you mentioned it in episode 3. He even says like, "Why am I doing this? Like, Dad's not here."
Yeah,
like,
it's like you're just trying to get that shitty parent affection, like the abusive parent affection, which is like what many abusive kids got a victim of abuse try to do.
Yeah, and I believe Ano has said that he had a very strained relationship with his father.
I can see that being a big impact, especially from this, seeing how it's going.
Yeah.
And kind of like maybe him being like visually like looking like just like adult Shinji, so like it's a lot more like probably Ano like a direct like comparison to like someone that looks like a grown up version of me.
Yeah,
and trying to gain his affection like. But
it's really good. It's just we've already constructed such like a beautiful portrait of this character Shinji. Shinji's a character that I feel like the more times I watch the show, the more I find to appreciate, because the first watch they're always like, "Oh, Shinji,
it's a meme.
He's such a baby. He's a piss diaper baby the whole time. He doesn't want to get in the robot." Which, first off, Shinji gets in the robot like almost every single fucking time he needs to.
Yeah,
that's like kind of a meme.
It's just like there's a lot of trauma with this person, and trauma of just trying to fight a life and death situation. Like, what? See, when they got into the Jaeger, they got right away and just beat the fucking robot with no trauma or no worries. It's not like very few things put like the pilot like actually going through like something like a battle with himself essentially. Yeah. Like, maybe, I think probably Gundam probably does that. That's also, like, a war story more than, like, a fucking giant robot just fighting each other for the lulz, kind of, for the most part.
Yeah. Eva, just, what I love about this series is every character feels like a real person. Like, every character is so fleshed out. They feel like you're just getting that, like, small bit of them. It's like how when you talk to, like, someone that you know, like, when I talk to you every once in a while, like, I'm only getting, like, a bit of your life. Like, I don't know everything about your life. Mm-hmm. That's how Eva feels. Like, the characters feel so fleshed out. They have so much going on. Shinji's the one that we get the most focus on, of course, because there's still a little bit of, like, mystery about his past and such. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just great. I just think the character writing is incredible. Misato, in particular, I think is, like I said, a stunning character.
I told you, like, the first episode where, like, she is, like, the second main character of the show, or probably the first, technically.
She definitely does. What's the term, like, how protagonists, like, the whole thing about a protagonist, like, Misato definitely serves the role of a protagonist in, like, the fact that she commands
like a dual tagonist
a lot of
kind
the
of
operations. Kind of. I would still say Shinji's, like, definitely of the story, he's, like, the main protagonist, but
yeah.
She serves that role because she makes a lot of, like, the calls.
Misato's also, I guess, if Shinji's, like, in the new world, but she's, like, also just, like, when we go into the facility, she's kind of, like, our character, kind of, like, to go through, a surrogate character to kind of go through her, just to see, like, people in that facility that aren't going to treat them like shit. Where like Shinji's like he works there, but everybody's gonna treat him like shit because the pilots are like there are no one's grateful for the pilots really.
Mm-hmm.
Pilots are just tools.
They essentially are, yeah.
They're just tools to kill the angels, and hopefully get more explanation of just we have to put 14-year-olds in there. We just have to. There's no other way. We can't. They mentioned I could swear they mentioned something about pilots like. I thought they meant,
so
they meant like the forced child or forced children or something like that.
So for some reason, this version says children when it should say child.
The forced child.
I think this was an intentional choice in the subbing, but I think it's more confusing. So each one of the kids is numbered.
So Shinji, Rei. I think Rei was 0, right?
Rei's Eva is unit 0. Rei is I believe the first child.
Yeah, we have Rei, Shinji.
Shinji's the second child. Asuka's the third.
We have the white-haired kid I seen before.
So yeah, that's Karu. But
and then Mari.
Well, no, Mari does not fucking exist. But they refer to there's a thing called the Marduk Institute, which is like I guess the organization that like selects the children as like candidates. And they said that they haven't found the fourth child yet. So they know that there is a candidate for like there's a fourth Eva pilot they're going to be choosing soon, but we don't know who it is, but presumably like they already know about. They mention Asuka. Yeah. They actually do mention Asuka in this. They say the third children. They should say the third child.
Yeah,
the third child is like coming or whatever. They mention it.
She is coming after the Rei arc.
Yeah, and a little bit longer.
I saw her on the episode list that she's coming after.
Oh, I think she's episode 7. Yeah, you're right. I think the episode's called Asuka Strikes.
Then she goes away.
I fucking love Asuka's episode. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That episode is so good.
We'll find out.
Fuck, I love Evangelion. I love the series.
But
all right, yeah. Well, what are you feeling right now? How do you like this compared to the first 2 episodes? Because these kind of both are like 2-parters.
Yeah, I think I like the first 2 episodes a little bit more though. Yeah. I maybe because like just anime's done this where I kind of like get tired of school settings a lot.
That's like totally understandable.
And like I don't really like the 2 friends that much. I feel like they're just gonna be like pushed to like irrelevancy once you get more into the Eva stuff and the more the Eva characters show up. That I know it's still there.
I feel like I like the other kid characters just because they've been with me for so long. Like I've seen the series so many times and I had seen it so long ago that I just have like an inherent affection towards them.
Like they should be the characters that like the non-pilots, the people that Shinji can like talk to or get like like a more human like talk with or a more human like response to what he's in or what he should do instead of like the Eva people that are just like. They're all broken humans in some way. Yeah. Where they're like they're not they're barely functional.
Barely functional.
Like even Masato is like you see her living situation barely functional.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I just get the feeling they're gonna be irrelevant.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if that prediction plan pans out.
That or because you take on Titan. Here's new characters. Like they're not important. They're important for like 2 episodes, and they're fucking not important.
The always beloved arc characters in Attack on Titan.
But anything else then?
No, that's really it. I'm just excited. The next one is Treat.
Yeah, I hope so. You're excited.
I think it's the next one. I always forget. I always mix
up. The Rei episodes are next, I think you said.
Yeah, it's technically Rei 1 and Rei 2.
Rei 1 and Rei 2.
All right, but yeah, that's it.
All right. To plug it up then? Plug it back in the umbilical cord?
Yeah, plug the I didn't even think about that. That's perfect. Plug the umbilical cord back in. We're running out of power, Sam.
We've got 5 minutes to do this.
Yeah, oh shit, we overshot by a couple dozen
minutes. A couple dozen minutes. Who says that? Thank you so much, y'all, for listening. Again, like, comment, subscribe. What was the comment? If is your boss a coworker? Yes or no? You can follow the podcast on Twitter or Media Gym separately. You can also join our Discord. And with that, I think we will head to the next episode, which is the Rei arc. I'm excited to get to this weird broken child.
So, According to
Oh my god, you did not just Google.
according to inhersite.com,
In her say.
a coworker is someone you work with in the same company or organization. Your boss is a coworker.
Yes. I'm with her, I say to the website. Okay, Jim, we wrap it up before you had the more dead air to it.
Wrap it up.
I already did all the plugs.
All right, then let's end this.
See, we ended on that.
All right, your boss is a coworker.
I was
guess,
right.
according
I was
to
right. Jim was wrong.
Inhersite.com. All
All
right,
right.
join us next week. I don't know what days these come out on. I was thinking of something, but I forget.
On
so,
White Day.
On White Day. That's just completely irrelevant to the season we're in.
know.
It's just a reference to the episode of Comey that we
just
watched. that We
watched.
just happened to watch. All right, we need to end this now.
All right.
Goodbye.
See you next time.